Let's get started. So today we are talking about how to optimize your website for maximum conversion and lead flow. So I guess basically what we're trying to do is we can have the most beautiful website, but if it doesn't convert visitors into paying customers, it's not doing its job. So what I'd like to do is dig into it and give you some tactical things that you can take away and be like, checkbox, checkbox. When you look at your website, hopefully there's a few aha moments and you're like, you know what, that's a really good thing. We need to add that to our website. So I hope you have some really good takeaways. Alrighty, let's get going here. So, like I normally like to do, is I want to congratulate you for being in the right room. The reason I like to do this is because I just want to acknowledge that there are many other places you could be, but you are eager to grow and to get better, grow your business. So, congratulations for being here. You are already ahead by just putting in this extra effort to learn and work on the business rather than in the business. So, if I could just ask for your attention, I know you guys are busy. If you could just maybe silence your cell phones, turn off Facebook, give me your attention. I'll try to keep it interesting as I can. If you can save your questions to the end, just jot them down. We'll have a bit of a Q&A at the end, and I'll be happy to take all your questions when we get there. What are we going to cover today? I'd like to talk about a little bit about why is conversion important, the critical conversion elements of your website, some strategies that you can go ahead and deploy on your shop's website. And if we have time, I'd like to do a live website audit if we have anybody on the call that's interested. A little bit about who I am. So I am Daniel Burkholder. I'm sure you probably knew that already. I grew up in an auto body family, worked in the family shop for many years as manager. Now, when I say manager, this was not me wearing a suit and tie to work because we were a smaller shop. I got to do a lot of things. So I kind of got to do most everything except for painting and the actual body work. I am the founder of Body Shop Marketing. I've also am the author of The Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Auto Body Shops. This is a fairly new book, and I have one here with me today. If anybody would want one, go ahead, throw your address into the chat, and I will try to make sure I mail you one if you're interested in getting a copy of my book. It's not very interesting, but it does have some pretty cool information in there. I've also spent some time speaking at Okaba, at CCA. Body Shop Marketing, we're members of SCRS. If your shop is not a member of SCRS, I would highly recommend you consider becoming a member. They are such a strong advocate for the industry and moving it forward.
Do you have audio?
All right, we just muted Tim. All right, and also members of ABAT and Okaba, which are the state associations for Texas and Oklahoma. So I call Oklahoma home. I'm also involved there in the association, which I know Stephanie is as well, and she is more involved than I am. So thank you, Stephanie, for being here. And we serve shops from coast to coast. Just a couple pictures of me and one of an amazing client all the way out in New Hampshire. Had the opportunity to visit him on a recent trip, so that was great fun. Alrighty, let's roll on to the next slide. And I went the wrong direction. Here we are. So this is what I guess on this slide, what I'd like to emphasize is this is part of the puzzle. One of the pieces to the puzzle is how I should say that. Here is, and I normally show this slide on my webinars. And today we're focusing in on the website aspect. There's a number of different places we could be focusing, but today we're going to focus on the website and how to get more conversions out of those people that we're getting there to the website. Here's a slide about our digital dominance method here at Body Shop Marketing. I'm not going to spend much time here, but I'm going to highlight basically where we're spending our time today is right on number one of the most important parts. And here's another way to illustrate it. As in a pyramid, you want to have your organic foundation for your website built out really strong. And if that is not built out correctly, a lot of your other marketing will struggle without that built out correctly. So conversion is part of foundation of your marketing pyramid. So why is getting your website built to convert important to you? And you don't need to answer that question audibly, but I'd like you to maybe think about that a little bit. Why is it important to get your website converting? I could throw out some examples, and I have a slide here coming up that's going to show you some numbers that's going to really emphasize why it is important. And you know what? Let's just go to it right now. So why is conversion important? Let's do scenario 1 and scenario 2 here. If you can see my screen, just go ahead and check this out. So scenario 1 and scenario 2, we both get 1,500 visitors per month to our website. Scenario 1 has a 5% conversion ratio. Scenario 2 has a 15% conversion ratio. This is where the magic starts happening. So you see the difference here. We go from 75 calls or leads to 225. Here's just the sheer power of changing that conversion by 10%. We're going from 75 calls to 225 calls. Then we take that one down further. Let's say we have a 30% conversion ratio of lead or phone call to a booked job. And you see there again how powerful this is. That's 22 to 67. You do the math, you have 4,000 average RO. See the difference there? $88,000 to $268,000. Isn't that wild? Almost $200,000 difference from scenario 1 to scenario 2. And that is just a 10% conversion from your website. So you might be like, well, we never get 1,500 visitors to your website, to our website. Well, that might be the case. But even if you're getting 100 visitors and you take it from 5% conversion to 10 to 15%, it's huge. So I would say don't be discouraged because you might be like, well, we never get that many. Even if you don't, conversion is a great place to start. All right, here is a summary of the conversion elements that we're going to be going over. I'm just going to skim down over them quickly, and then we're going to go and dig into the details. So number 1, speak to your target avatar. So what are their fears or frustrations? Why should they choose your shop? Number 2, be real. Use authentic images of your team throughout the website on the homepage. Number 3, mobile friendly. Number 4, leverage social proof. Number 5, set up your conversion opportunities, which here I've got 3, the call button, the estimate request button, and your chat or text me button. Ensure you have clear calls to action on each page so they don't have to go back to the homepage to find it. Make sure it's a clear call to action that speaks to your avatar. Make sure your website has an easy click to call function. So it's not hard at all. They can just click on that. Most of these searches are happening on their phones. So make sure you have an easy button. They can call right from there. Consider leveraging live chat. Your site speed matters. Leverage a separate landing page for your Google ads, your paid traffic campaigns. Get that separate from your website. Engage via SMS or phone. Consider using some of the latest AI conversion opportunities. So that's a summary of what we're going to be looking at. Let's just dive right into it. So number 1, speak to your target avatar. And here are some things you want to start thinking through. What are their fears? What are their frustrations? So highly likely these people have been in an accident. What are they worried about? Are they worried about how quickly they can get their car back? Are they worried about it being safely repaired so their family's safe? Are they worried about your shop having the OEM certifications that their manufacturer has? Are they concerned about your reputation? Are they concerned about quality? Is it speed? Is it cheap? Nobody wants to speak to that avatar, right? But these are all things that we need to take into consideration when we're thinking about who are we actually trying to target. Now, the next few slides, we're going to dig deeper into this of who is your ideal customer avatar. What I have listed here is not necessarily exactly the same for everybody, but I wanted to use it to try to trigger your mind and help you start thinking about how can you apply this to your website to make sure that your website is speaking to the people you're trying to reach. So obviously, they need to be a vehicle owner. Maybe there's particular brands that you're focusing on. Maybe you're a heavy OEM certified shop and you want to focus on particular brands. Maybe you're in Michigan where everybody drives Ford trucks, Chevy trucks, Dodge trucks. I have no idea, but speak to those vehicle owners. If you know that 90% of the vehicles you work on are trucks, pickup trucks, then speak to that. Really use that kind of language that those guys, maybe it's loggers. I have no idea what you guys do up in Michigan. I think they might have some trees up there that they log sometimes. Um, Speak to them is what I'm trying to say. So here's some more ideas. 20, maybe there's a certain age bracket that you're focusing on. Maybe you're in Los Angeles and you're targeting the 50 to 70-year-olds that are driving Mercedes and BMWs and Teslas. Maybe you're targeting females versus males. I don't know. Maybe they're married. What's their income? Are they family oriented? Here's a good one. If you know they're family oriented, probably that safe repair is a good line to use with them. Making sure it's safely repaired is going to be, if you know you predominantly work for families, then I would definitely lean into the safe repair and maybe the convenience of getting them into a rental so they can keep going to the soccer games and all that stuff. Are they easily frustrated? Are they like do-it-yourselfers with vehicles? I don't think you want to speak to that avatar because guess what? They're not going to want to pay to have you repair it. They want to just hear how to do it themselves. They want to stop by the shop and learn how to buff out the spot on their car themselves. So you don't want to talk to them. I hope that gets your mind thinking. What are your demographics? Who are you speaking to? Now let's look about a little bit about their pains and frustrations. Like I was saying before, highly likely these people have been in an accident. So we obviously know that's a pain, that's frustrating. Maybe they're hurt, they're emotionally shook up, and they're trying to find a reliable auto body shop. Maybe a pain that they've had is they've experienced some unreliable auto body shops in their past. Maybe they've been ripped off. Maybe they've been had a poor repair experience at another shop. Maybe they're scared their insurance premiums are going to go up. Maybe they need their car repaired just like ASAP. Maybe insurance is making things complicated. Maybe they're worried that their vehicle won't be repaired quickly and safely. These are things that are going on in their heads. So the more we can try to understand what's going on as from a pain point and then use the language on the website to speak to those pain points, to reassure them that we're going to be taking care of you. Don't worry about your insurance. We'll help you navigate that, those kinds of things. Here's some more ideas to get you thinking about your customer avatar. This one goes very closely with what I was just talking about. Their fears. Maybe they're afraid of being overcharged, ripped off. Maybe they're afraid of paying too much that they could have gotten somewhere else. Maybe they've had some bad workmanship before. Maybe they're worried about waiting weeks to get their car repaired. Maybe they're concerned about being inconvenienced of having to coordinate a rental. Let's say you're a more rural shop and you don't have enterprise across the street or in an office in your facility, and they have to go 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get their rental. Speak to that. Make it like, hey, we will give you a whatever. We have a shuttle that will take you, so on and so forth. Let's talk a little bit about their goals. This one's a little tougher. These are just ideas. I'd like you to try to just to think about it to help you start thinking. Obviously, their goal is to get their vehicle fixed. They just want to have the whole thing behind them. They want to have a nice, well-kept car. Maybe their goal is to have their family safe out on the highways. Here's some more general things. Maybe they just want to have more income, more money, more wealth. They want to have a nicer house. They want their kids to be happy and healthy. They want to spend more time with the family. They want to have peace of mind. Those are not specifically related to collision repair, but they're part of the bigger picture of how does your customer think? How can you get inside of their heads and speak to them when they land on your website? And remember, all of our words need to be working at converting them from that visitor into that paying customer. That's the whole goal of this exercise. Here's a couple ideas of messaging that could work depending on who your customer avatar is. Maybe you could focus, maybe you've kept track over the last year, and the majority of customers coming into your shop are really concerned about getting it done now and done quickly so they can get their car back. Well, then I would say On your website, you need to speak to that. Maybe something like same day estimates or get your estimate today. How about straightforward pricing? Maybe somebody that's been ripped off in the past. Straightforward pricing, transparent estimates, satisfaction guaranteed. Here's maybe if somebody's concerned about quality, trained technicians, ICAR certified technicians. Now, the general consumer might not know what ICAR is, but it speaks to professionalism. They're going to sense that. They're going to be like, oh, these guys are ICAR certified. They have no idea who ICAR is, but it's still like, it sounds cool. It's like, oh, these guys are ICAR certified. Excellent. They know what they're doing. They're going to do a good job. Or maybe it's somebody, your avatar is concerned about having to deal with their insurance, having to get their rental car lined up. Maybe you can speak to just streamlining the whole process for them and making sure everything goes well. All right, I think I've driven home number one enough. I think we're going to move on to number two. Oh, I didn't know. I have a little bit more yet. So here is just a simple screenshot of a website where on the homepage, it's speaking to a lot of these direct concerns that people have. In this situation, this is one of our clients. They are 100% independent. They have no DRPs. They are very hardcore working for the client, working for the customer. So that is one of their big things. No DRPs. We don't work for insurance companies. We use only OEM parts, that kind of thing. They're leveraging that to speak to their clients. All right. Number two, be real. I don't have a lot of points here other than use authentic images of your team on the homepage throughout the website. Be human. I know shop owners don't like getting their pictures taken. Technicians don't like getting their pictures taken. Trust me, I know this better than you do. But I would say, if at all you can get nice shots of your team around your facility, use them. It shouts of professionalism that you're not hiding anything. You're just right up front. People can see exactly who you are. We love that. We love to interact with real people that we trust. All right. Number three, mobile friendly. I don't think I have to really drive this home very hard. We are all doing hundreds of searches on our phones. We're not using our desktops, except for like you and I. We're in front of a desktop a lot of the day. So we are using desktops some. 9 in 10 consumers use their phone to search, and this is statistics. 9 to 10 consumers use their phone to search for local businesses at least once per week. 80 to 90% of consumers use smartphones to search for local businesses routinely. 50% report doing so daily. And a third of Americans use only a cell phone for internet access. So your website, period, has to be mobile friendly. There's no ways around that one. Number 4, leveraging social proof. So I imagine your shop probably has lots of Google reviews, 5-star Google reviews. Well, there's widgets that you can plug into your website that you can display 5-star reviews. It'll just filter out the non 5 stars, or you can just have a spot on your website where you put reviews. Great place to leverage social proof right inside your website and keep people there. Number 5, set up the 3 conversion opportunities. So I have a screenshot here of a client's website. The 3 are a very easy call button. So that button, you can hit that button. It takes them right to the phone number. They can make that phone call with 2 clicks. Also, they can get an estimate right there on the get an estimate button. And I think on this, and typically we do this, another little tip that I don't have listed here, but I think is a good one. Have that get an estimate button or your call now button, whichever one you like, have it freeze at the top of the mobile screen when people are using it. So it's always sitting right there at the top of their screen, no matter what page they're on, it's there. Make it super easy. And then also leveraging a chat button. Typically they're down in that bottom right-hand corner. Some people like to use them, not necessarily everybody, but here again, we're just making it really easy for them to convert into a customer, into a lead. Number 6, ensure you have clear calls to action on each page. So no matter which page you are on your website, if it's the home page, the services page, location page, about page, make sure you always have that. Maybe for you, it's a call now button. Maybe maybe in these screenshots that I have here, it's a get your estimate button. You want to have it always there front and center. So whenever they finally commit, it's right there. They don't have to go looking for the button and be like, oh man, where is that call button again? And they have to go back and they're wandering around trying to find it. Have it right there in their face. So when they finally make the decision to commit and make the call or to get their estimate, boom, you've got them. They've turned into a conversion. Number 7. So if you have the phone number on your website, ensure that it links right through so they can call. This is very elementary, but you do run across it sometimes where websites, they have the phone number, but you click on it on mobile and it doesn't do anything. Isn't that frustrating? You're like, boom, 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 like, come on, connect, but it won't do anything. So just make sure it's connected right through to their phone so they can make that phone call right there. Here's another one. Consider leveraging live chat. I know a lot of shops don't necessarily have somebody sitting there all the time at a computer to monitor these. There's a couple of different things you can do. AI is getting a lot better at handling these live chats. So that's an option for handling them. Another option that we have some clients that are leveraging, basically they turn the live chat into an email. Now I know that's not immediate response. That's not quite live anymore, but it's at least better than nothing. So definitely consider leveraging live chat. Number 9, site speed matters. Right as I'm standing here, I wish that I had some statistics on how many people bounce off of a website that doesn't load very quickly. I'm sure I don't have it in front of me, but I'm sure we've all had that experience where you go from a Google business profile to a website, or even you're just doing a search and you end up going to the website and it sits there and the wheel spins and the wheel spins and the wheel spins. And you make it to about exactly 5 seconds and you're gone. It's really hard to convert people when you have that happen. You can't turn them into conversion. So site speed matters. You got to have that load speed quick. I have a QR code here on the presentation. If you scan that with your phone, it'll take you to a link that you can enter your shop's website and check their performance. So go ahead and check that out if you're interested. It's a free tool that I think it's Google's tool actually. You're definitely welcome to check out your website speed there. And the one you're most interested in obviously is the mobile. I would say if you can get it into the 90s, that's perfect. If you're hitting 100, that is amazing. Number 10, leverage a separate landing page for paid traffic and Google Ads. One of the reasons you want to do this is typically when somebody lands on a Google ad, they're looking for specifically for something. If you take them to your main website, there's a good chance of them getting distracted and looking at all the pages. What you really want to do is you want to take them to a landing page that gives them a really clear call to action. Maybe it's call now, maybe it's start your free estimate, something that gets them to take action right away. Number 11. So here again, back to engaging via, actually, this is a little bit different. Having a feature on your website that you can engage SMS and phone. So there are chat widgets out there that you can have on your website that you can engage in a two-way text communication. Then once they fill out their information right there, boom, it turns it into a text conversation and you can start text messaging with them, because a lot of consumers like to text versus an actual phone call. But hopefully you can convert them into a phone call and then obviously coming down to the shop. Here's, I think, my last one. Number 12, consider some of the latest AI conversion opportunities. And I'm sure probably most of you are familiar with tools like Body Shop Booster. Body Shop Booster is doing a great job at leveraging AI estimate requests, live chats, and phone answering. I believe CarWise is also offering a little bit of that as well. Now, before you scoff too much at AI estimates, let me give you my perspective on it. Offering an AI estimate is not necessarily, you're not trying to give them a perfect estimate that's going to fix their car. You are trying to nail down a lead that you can then hopefully get back to as quickly as possible. So look at the tool as just another avenue of getting that person engaged. Maybe it's on a Saturday night, maybe it's you're closed. If you can get them engaged and they feel like they're doing something, they feel like they're getting something, you will much quicker keep that lead rather than them going on to the next collision repair shop or the next auto body shop. So I guess the big question that you need to think about is your website optimized for conversion? So out of the 12 things that we talked about, like how many of those boxes can you check on your website to make sure that you are converting those people that are landing there? I would say what I would suggest doing is pick 3 of them. Don't try to fix all 12 of them. If you're like, oh man, our website's a disaster, just pick 3. Just start with the 3 simplest ones that you can implement the quickest and start working on those. All right. Is there anybody here that would like to do a live website audit? I do not have my chat here in front of me. Actually, you know what? I just found the chat button. And I just found it here. So is there anybody that would like to do a live website audit? If you would like me to, just throw it into the chat or unmute yourself. No pressure at all. I'll just give you a few seconds here and then we'll carry on. It feels like we're wrapping up in pretty good time here. Okay. Now for the tricky part. How can I do this? I might have to. Thank you, Chandler Collision Center. I'm going to load up your website here. I want to make sure that you guys can actually see it though. And for some reason, I'm not real clear. I'm going to reshare my screen just to make sure that you guys are seeing the same thing I'm seeing. Perfect. Maybe if you could just give me a thumbs up either in the chat. Can you see Chandler Collision Center? Perfect. Thank you very much. All right. Let's go here. Now, I hope you don't take anything personal that I say here. This is definitely not personal at all. Let's think about this. Let's think about, first of all, number one, are we speaking to our avatar? Are we speaking to that person that we're trying to reach? Now, Chandler's Collision Center, I'm not sure. Are they entirely collision repair? It almost looks like they might do some other things as well. We are so much more than just a collision center. Come and see us for all of your custom needs. Click here to check out our customs page. Got it. I would probably say maybe spend a little bit of time thinking about who you're trying to attract. So are you trying to get more custom work? If you are, that's probably some good verbiage to be using there. We're so much more than a collision center. We do custom work as well. Let's think a little bit about, and I'm obviously on a desktop, but if I was to try to call you guys, I think that might be a little bit challenging. At least I would have to scroll down quite a ways. I don't see any phone numbers. There's a contact button here. Let's see where that takes us. So that takes us over to a little, okay, so let's check this out. So I'm trying to click on the phone number to get it to call, but unfortunately it's not linked. It won't let me call. I would say that's something you definitely want to change. Mr. Chandler, what I would do is up here in the top right-hand corner, rather than having the contact us, I would slide that all over and have the phone number up there linked right to your phone number. So when they click on it, it's linked. It opens it up right in their phone and they can call you right there. I would definitely suggest adding that. That's something very simple you can do without changing your website very much at all. What other points should we be hitting off here? Those are probably the main ones that I think about is how easily can they get a hold of you from the website, and is our content speaking to who we're actually trying to attract? If you are not trying to attract customs, like if you actually want to do 90% insurance work, I would change this. Or maybe not change it, at least have some verbiage up here on the Ford, I think that's a Ford GT, around how you help people get their cars fixed up safely, something around that. Anyways, I hope that was helpful. I know that wasn't a deep dive. If you would like me to do more, just let me know. I think this might be Keith. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure this is Keith. You've got my number, you've got my email. We can dive deeper into that. Is there anyone else that would like to do okay, perfect. Thank you, Keith. I thought it was you. I just wasn't 100% sure. Any other? I hope that was, by the way, Keith, thank you. I appreciate you being brave enough. I hope that was helpful. Anyone else want to do a live website audit? All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap this up. I had a couple more slides here. Let's see if I can get this back to presenting nicely. There we go. So I guess what I want you to take away from this is yes, high converting websites do drive leads. There is definitely a way to build a website that will drive leads for your store. You might need to take some time, go through these steps, figure out what's converting for you. Maybe it takes some changes, some tweaks as you perfect it, but they definitely do drive leads. So make sure yours is the best in your market. If you're just feeling like, I need help with this, you want a big easy button, there is no easy button, but there's a help button. I'll let you hit the help button. You could go ahead and schedule some time with me, and I will do a website audit for you. And then we can chat about that sometime when you have time. Um, so, anyways, I hope this was very helpful for you guys. This is it. This is the end of the story. Um, I hope that gave you a few things to think about, maybe like some aha moments. I would be excited if you took away at least one or two ahas. That's, you know what? Let's go look at this. Let's check out our website. Any other questions before we wrap this up? It looks like we're getting this done early today. We'll get you back to your work sooner. Mr. Keith, there is no charge for an in-depth audit. You are such a fine man. I would do it for you. Plus, I would even do it for your friends. So just Keith, just scan that code and fill out the questions. I think it's gonna ask you a few questions just to make sure that you're actually a shop owner, and then schedule some time on my calendar, and I'll be happy to go over it with you. Good question. All righty. Well, I appreciate everybody that's showed up today. Tim, Keith, Stephanie, Chad, appreciate you. Hope that the rest of your afternoon is great. And we will catch you at the next webinar in July if you're interested. All righty, take care.